Most relationships start with high hopes and end as disasters, mainly for one reason. The man took the woman at face value, ignored the red flags, and willingly walked into a landmine. The wrong women are like rotten fruit. There are always telltale signs that they are not the best for you. You just need to learn how to recognize these signs early. As a man, you spend most of your time working on yourself, so it's counterproductive to allow a woman who hasn't worked on herself to disrupt the good you've created in your life. To prevent this act of self-sabotage, you must look out for these 9 red flags in any woman you consider going out with. 1. She's a prima donna. It's late at night, you're tired and just returning from work. When you get home, instead of showing appreciation and welcoming you, she immediately starts nagging you. Disrespectful. Never make the mistake of tying yourself up to a diva. This type of woman exhibits a neurotic level of neediness that's unhealthy for your vibe as a masculine man. But in her case, whatever you do is not appreciated. Even after you have done your best, she won't see any good in it because you failed to do it in some particular way. And every time this happens, you become less of a man to her. You definitely want to distance yourself from a woman who constantly shrinks you. She's a negative element in your environment and a sure self-esteem destroyer. 2. She's lazy. The tag of a couch potato instantly brings a picture of an idle boy to mind, but it's just one of society's greatest lies. Many modern women are, in fact, do-nothings as well. Unacceptable. When you find a girl who's always at home, does not work, has no skills, and always wants to talk at odd hours of the day, that's an obvious red flag. This type of girl is not crushing on you. She simply needs a crutch. She needs a financial crutch for money, a partner for her loneliness, a messenger for her errands. Simply put, a one-man support system while she reciprocates little in return. Pathetic. So imagine providing for her and having to do all the house chores yourself because she is not willing to add anything of worth to your life. That's a huge liability you don't want in your life. You want an asset who adds value to you, not a loafer who diminishes your value. 3. She's slave-minded. If you wonder what a slave-minded woman looks like, hold this image for a minute. She wakes up in the morning and listens to her favorite podcast, where a couple of women gossip about the latest nonsense or degrade men. After that, she whips out her phone to look at what's new with Instagram models. Not for work, she's just obsessed with them. Later, she turns on the TV to catch up with the Kardashians, and her days go on in this manner. Chances are high that this woman has zero personality of her own. She's simply a creation of impressions from multiple influencers and a slave to the social hive mind. All she cares about is the trend, and if the trend becomes hating your spouse or getting BBLs, she will readily do it, without questioning the idea. Disgraceful. A mindless woman is dangerous because she has no filter against the dictates of conventions. She simply follows what everyone else does because that is the social norm. For instance, when her friends advise her, she has no common sense to see if their opinion might have come from a negative source, such as jealousy or just pure hatred. Your woman has to be an individual, not just a clone of other women or a slave to society. 4. She's materialistic. It's your job as a man to do all you can to make money and provide for the people in your life. But when it comes to financial wealth, not everyone will be Elon Musk, and that's a fact. So, imagine that while you're striving to get your finances right, you get involved with a materialistic woman. Critical mistake. If you're not careful, she will suck you dry and move to the next rich guy in a wink. She doesn't generally care about you, she just cares about what you can do for her. Even though she doesn't have a job, she would still want you to buy her a Birkin bag. Do you want to know the truth? You don't have to put up with her. Don't force yourself on a woman who thinks you can't afford her because money is the only thing that makes her happy. That relationship is always destined to fail. Stay away from her before she becomes a financial liability and gets you into a rat race you never wanted to run. 5. She's overly indulgent. Princesses and queens belong in the castles of Disney movies, not in your life. Many girls are stuck with this silly idea of thinking themselves as royalty, and they want to be treated as such. But that's simply nonsense because as men we live in reality. Besides, most modern women are delusional, believing they are worthy of something they don't deserve. You have no reason to live only for a woman unless you are a simp. If a woman has no time for anyone or anything but herself, it's best to let her be. She's a burden you don't want to carry. She'll spend most of her days in front of the mirror and shopping for clothes online. She'll probably enhance at least one part of her body because princesses are supposed to be perfect. A relationship with such a person is a suicide mission. It's like getting a pointless side hustle that's more demanding than your actual job. 6. She's malevolent. Do you know who's even worse than a woman who cares too much about herself? A woman who cares nothing about others. How she treats other people is a reflection of who she is inside, so never take this lightly. If she's unnecessarily rude to a waitress or generally disrespectful to everyone around her, that's a serious red flag. She's looking down on those people because they are, from her skewed perspective, below her in life. This is probably from an unresolved issue in her past, so don't think she can't do it to you too. She definitely will. You don't know what tomorrow may bring. You may think you found a ride or die, but when things go south, she will treat you like trash or ghost you because that's what people like her do. If she doesn't care about other people, she won't care about you. You may think she does, but it's usually something you're providing her that she cares about and not you. 7. She's sexually loose. Promiscuity is an unmissable mark of instability in a woman. She's sharing beds with different men because she has too many options in today's day and age, and she can't just pick one. She's unsettled, and she's not ready to settle down. A modern woman is either too busy living her best life, finding herself, or having a hot girl summer. You don't hook up with a sexually loose woman like this and expect something long-term or a serious relationship. If you do and it becomes something, you built yourself a house of cards on an unstable foundation. You need to know your woman wants you and only you. A wild woman, although fun, is nothing but trouble, so don't think you can ever satisfy her. She's an explorer with commitment issues you can't help, so you must let her roam freely, as that is truly who she is and what she wants. If you try to date her seriously, she will break your heart and you will have yourself to blame. 8. She's aggressive. Avoiding an aggressive woman is simply a no-brainer, whether she's verbally or physically aggressive. If she's always raring for a fight, you have to let her go or run as far from her as you can. Your home should be a place of solace, not the den of an angry beast. Imagine you get home and instead of opening the door, you stop yourself for a second, because a combative woman is always waiting behind the door. An aggressive woman will make your life a mess after she steals your peace. It's always best to notice her aggressive tendencies early, before getting serious with her. If she has an aggressive personality, is always raising her voice, or acting aggressively after a slight provocation, let her go now. Those behaviors will likely escalate over time and become scratches, punches, slaps, and bites. And if you get in too deep with this character, you'll be lucky to make it out alive. Violent women are usually carrying heavy emotional baggage that you can't help because you're not her therapist. You must avoid this type of woman and let her sort out her issues on her own. 9. She's emotionally manipulative. The opposite of a violent woman is a gentle one, but be careful. Her meekness is not in any way a form of weakness. It's a time-tested and super effective camouflage of mind benders. Women are indeed more emotional than men, but at the same time, a woman's emotions can be a deadly weapon. Women are born actors, and they learn from a young age to get their way by making sad faces and crying unprovoked. If a woman is always crying, she's probably twisted and potentially manipulative, and she will use her tears to control you. She'll make you think you have her controller in your hands when in fact you're just a puppet on her strings. The ability to identify red flags in women is an essential skill for every man who wants a fulfilling life. It only takes a little feminine toxicity to destroy everything you've built. So as a masculine man, you must keep your guard up at all times.